Hello there, we are AP Biology students from MISCAM's third period at Santa Barbara High School.
Today we will be showing you snippets of 2 interviews of scientists talking about their careers.
Hopefully these will give you a little bit of insight on what each profession is about and how they compare to each other.
Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so if you want to tell me your name, your age, and your profession.
My name is Alejandro Parra. I am 46 years old and I'm a chemical engineer.
I'm a psychologist and work at Eastside Family Center.
And what do you do on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, I teach chemistry laboratory, and supervise students throughout their coursework and work.
And how has your career changed since you began, both personally and as an industry?
Well, personally, my career has changed because I started really my first job when I entered graduate school was as a teaching assistant. I only helped a little throughout the lab periods, and nowadays I teach 2 whole courses in chemistry. So it's now I teach the subject, not only the lab, and I teach not only a little of the lab, but the whole thing.
Well, I started off in neuroscience and developed an animal model for preterm birth, and then wanted to see how stress affected pregnancy outcomes in humans, and what kind of interventions we could do. So I switched to psychology from neuroscience and began to work with human populations. And then I wanted to actually be part of the solution in reducing stress and improving the quality of life of people, then moved into counseling psychology. So it's been a circuitous journey.
And how did you get to where you are?
I had to get my bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, and I had to go to graduate school for 5 years to get my PhD in chemistry, and then I had to do a postdoc for a couple of years so that I was able to get a position as a chemistry professor in the college I'm currently at.
Get where you are. Well, I guess I kind of just explained that, but upon wanting to learn skills in counseling psychology, I became really interested in the most effective, efficient interventions or therapies for people in extreme distress or crisis, and began to work in a single session walk-in model.
And who do you work with, and how often do you collaborate with them?
I work with other chemistry professors in my department, and I collaborate with them almost daily, doing different things related to our teaching, our courses, our homeworks, and our lab activities.
A multidisciplinary team. I work with psychiatrists, psychologists, and a few social workers, even a geneticist, actually. I have an amazing team of people that I work with. I love the collaboration and the multidisciplinary nature of the work that we do.
And looking back, is there anything you might have done differently?
I would have started sooner, like at your age, people. But it's still great. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm glad I am where I am. I love my work so much that I would do it for free if there was no funding for what I did. So what I do. So yeah, I don't have any regrets.
Yes, I think as a graduate student, I have focused more on experimental work rather than theoretical work as I did.
Mm-hmm. Would you recommend others follow in your footsteps? Why or why not?
Absolutely. Learning science, and in particular learning chemistry, is a challenging and fulfilling task. anyone interested in science and having an interesting career and interesting things to think about should go into chemistry. This is the best profession you can have, both as a person interested in chemistry and science, and also as a person interested in teaching others what you know about these things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my goodness, if they followed in my footsteps, it would be a pretty circuitous route. I would say go directly, figure out what your passion is and go directly through. I went back to school much later, and this is a second career, so I would say, and I would definitely encourage everyone to take the basic sciences and understand like the gold standard of experimentation, all that kind of stuff, so you can appreciate good practice.
Lastly, where is it that you work, and do you like your work environment? Why or why not?
I am a college professor at the Tecnológico de Monterrey in Guadalajara, Mexico, and I've been here for the last 2 years. And
Before you were at UCSB, you were UCSB.
And before coming back to Mexico, I was a development engineer in the chemical engineering department at UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara. And that's basically it. That's what I do. And I've done throughout my career a lot of teaching, a lot of research. That's what I've done.
Definitely, I would recommend my work environment. I'm just very lucky to be surrounded by brilliant people and passionate people, people who care about others.
And is there anything else that you want to share?
Yes. I think chemistry should be I think anyone interested in chemistry should also consider doing a lot of work in biology, because biology, the end, is a lot of chemistry applied to living things. So anyone very interested in chemistry should also consider biology careers.
I guess that it's important to know that in psychology we do use the scientific method. We have rigorous gold standards of testing, theories and methods to see which ones produce the best outcomes, and everything is informed by science. And even though psychology is human psychology is a complex, difficult field, and people, as we all know, can be very difficult to understand, it's even more important to use a rigorous scientific method to decide how to treat patients and how to intervene in ways that do not cause more harm, but actually help the people that you're intending to serve.
Thank you. And what would you say the most rewarding part of your job is?
I think when people's lives are changed, it's just such an honor to work with people at a time when they're often most vulnerable, having some of the most difficult experiences of their life, whether it's grief, early psychosis, depression, anxiety. Those are really common, and to be able to join with them on that difficult time in their journey and give them some ideas, some skills, some support so that they can begin to experience a better quality of life and get through those difficult times. I think there's no greater privilege than to have those sort of relationships with people.
Okay. Is there any fun stories that you'd like to add?
I have all sorts of fun stories. Well, obviously, sometimes when the brain chemistry is not working in a typical way, people behave in atypical ways. So I'm not going to share any specific stories, but let's just say people can be very bizarre when they're in a psychotic state, or when there's a lot of confusion. And I certainly have had some hilarious episodes or incidents with people, but the beauty of it is that there are ways that we can help people through that, and that it's good not to lose your sense of humor. And none of us are perfect. We all go through difficult times, and sometimes even the healthiest or most typical of people can act a little bizarre at times, and it keeps life interesting, and it certainly isn't. There's never a dull moment in my work, and we do have some pretty fun stories that we've shared, and some beautiful triumphs and some beautiful recoveries that we've also been able to be a part of. And so I don't want to laugh at people's confusion or anything like that. But again, sometimes it can be pretty funny when people are in those sort of states.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Lastly, here are some pictures that the two scientists decided to share with us. This is an outside picture of the Tecnológico in Monterrey, where Alexandro Parra currently works. And here are some lab setups. And this is Alexandra Robinson working on her experiment.